Welcome to the MSU Deer Labs online seminar series, brought to you by Mississippi State University Extension Service and the Forest and Wildlife Research Center. My name is Steve Damaris, and I'm the Taylor Chair in Applied Big Game Research and Instruction at Mississippi State University. Thank you for joining me. If we understand what nutritional needs are at what time of the year, we can identify potential nutritional bottlenecks. A bottleneck is a restriction that affects the flow of the liquid that's in the bottle. And if the new habitat is not providing the nutritional needs of the life history event that's taking place at that time, then that habitat is a potential nutritional bottleneck. And what you need to do as a habitat manager is to fulfill the needs of the nutrition that is needed at the particular life history stage. So what happens here is a problem, and I like to call it a seasonal mismatch, a phenological seasonal mismatch. I've showed you how the requirements for antler growth, pregnancy, and lactation are going up from spring to summer. And I've also shown you how the nutritional quality of forages is going down from spring to summer. That is a mismatch. That is a problem that a wildlife biologist, a land manager, a landowner, a hunter involved in active management on their property needs to be well aware. If there's less quality of forage when the deer actually need greater quality of forage, that is a problem. That helps us understand this graph, this figure that shows potential nutritional bottlenecks. It shows throughout the year what's happening. Does are conceiving, they're gestating in the spring, and in the late spring, early summer, they are in the late stage of gestation and then lactation. And then in Mississippi, lactation carries on into the fall. The bucks are rutting in the fall. They're growing their antlers in the summertime. And this box here, associated with summer, is a potential nutritional bottleneck. And here in late winter is a potential nutritional bottleneck relative to the bucks. Now, late winter is not a big deal to a doe. She has finished her lactation and she has been bred, but her early gestation is not particularly demanding at this stage, at least in the southern United States. Up in the northern United States, you get the demands of winter, which are complicating this. But here in the south, winter is not a big nutritional bottleneck for our female population. Summertime is a really big bottleneck, really big problem. And nutritional bottlenecks that happen in the preceding seasons and preceding years affect the next. So if there's a really tough summer nutritional bottleneck, the bucks will go into rut in poorer, lower quality condition. The does will be lactating and have a harder time lactating if they've had a really bad summer. And so when they finish lactation, they may even wean the fawns earlier than ideal, and they're going to be nutritionally stressed going into the breeding season, and so they may not breed as well as they would otherwise. So this summertime is really, really important. And if you have low quality habitat, you probably have a year-round deficiency, a year-round nutritional bottleneck on your property. So you really need to work hard at habitat quality. This graph is just a really artist rendition of relative nutrition in green, showing across the year the relative amount of nutritional quality of the habitat. And you can see in January, February, March, it's relatively low, but it starts going up once green up starts. And it reaches a peak sometime in May. There's a lot of green vegetation and it's high quality, but then it starts declining in the quality of the vegetation. There's not necessarily less vegetation during July and August, but the quality of that vegetation, as I showed you earlier, is declining dramatically. And so during August and September, the relative amount of quality nutrition is low. And then in the fall, we have acorn and mass production, and then also cool season plants start growing. And so the relative nutrition starts increasing during the fall and winter. And again, remember, fall and winter, the does don't have a lot going on once they wean their fawns. The bucks have a lot going on with the rut, but they're not eating as much. So we really like to emphasize post-rut, late winter, and summertime as potential stress periods. If you have a well-managed habitat, you're going to minimize those dips. If you have active habitat management, you minimize the dips, and you're going to decrease the relative impact of those stress periods. And then if you also have adequate summer food plots and maybe some fall cool season food plots also, but if you have good cool and warm season food plots as well as managed habitat, you are able to eliminate those nutritional stress periods and end up with a really good habitat for your deer population to live in. So it takes a knowledge of the food habits, the food requirements based on the life cycles and active management to provide that habitat.